Hello, Steve.
Hello, Jim. Hello, Rana.
Oh, turn the I gotta turn my speakers on. There we go. How you doing?
I don't think we can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Is it us or?
One sec. Let's see if it's us here. Let's see if it's us here. Yeah, okay. Now I can hear you.
Good now?
Yeah, that was good. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Excellent, excellent.
Oh.
Getting closer to the finish line for the basement. It's man, oh man, 1 year down there.
Really? That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's about a good 10 months of work for sure. Most of it's myself. So I just I don't like paying for work and it's not done right.
No, that's all you get today.
So I do it myself.
I always have.
It's just like take care of your health. Nobody can do it for you. You gotta do it yourself. Ain't that the truth?
Yep.
So yeah. Let's see if there's anybody coming on here. Oh, I just finished not too long ago. Jumped in the shower. I primed the walls. So the last section, and then there's two small temporary walls I got to build. Those should be pretty quick.
Yeah.
Um, but the sanding, man, oh,
That's the worst part.
that's absolutely disgusting, man. It just brings me back to those 4 years I worked in the auto body shop. It's not fun, man. It's just breathing in dust all the time. Your body's continuously trying to purge this stuff, and it's like molecular glue because it's all chemicals. The drywall dust and stuff. I don't think it's that much better, but still chemicals. It's all chemicals. I don't know. What's the base of it? Limestone, maybe?
Yeah.
Drywall?
Gypsum, yeah. Limestone.
Gypsum. I'm sure there's chemicals that they mix in.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really, really tough when you're doing dry and you're doing the sanding, man. It's not a pleasant feeling.
You still going dry? You still on it?
No. I actually, yesterday I had a meal. It was very, very dry for 35 days. I only drank maybe regular 3 days out of these 35 days. Yesterday I decided to have a small meal. And then today I'm back on and the food's not doing me well.
Well, I was on for a couple of days, but I went down to see my friend at the farm today and he had tomatoes. So
You have to get them in.
first one to see him, he grows them in the greenhouse.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. He's already got tomatoes in the greenhouse.
Mhm.
Wow.
Really good too.
Nice.
And then I had a salad out of my gardens here for the first time.
Awesome.
So my stuff's starting to come in.
It's food is wonderful and all, but there's just no comparison.
No, there isn't.
It's it's nice to indulge every once in a while here and there, and for the most part, we know most people are going to continue to eat. That's a given,
Yeah,
most of us are going to continue.
Again, it's about an individual journey, right?
Yeah.
Who cares about what people do?
That's okay. It's all wonderful. But we now have the understanding of the foods and so on and so forth, how they react in the body and all that. So it's individual choice of, how
It's a
destructively
spiritual
we want to
journey.
live. Yeah.
I mean, you gotta really be, in my opinion, honestly, being for me, being a religious person does help me do this for God, you know. It's very spiritual for me rather than just.
I don't know how you would do it without a connection.
Huh?
I don't know how you would do it without a connection to source.
Yeah,
There-
yeah, and honestly, my religion does help me because it's like there is fundamentals, there is structure, you know, and I feel without a structure, it's like you get lost. You
Oh,
get
yeah.
lost because spirituality, or like you can get lost in spirituality.
Well, in the
It's nice to have a discipline to it and structure and time for prayer and time for fasting and time for, like when like whatever for me, I love the strictness and the structure of Islam. Like the Islamic practice, rather than talking about when it's the religious practice. It's really, really beautiful. I love it.
for what I've seen in the healing world, for the most part, there's a little bit of people, going into more of the holistic and spiritual side of things. It's most of it is based on the physicality of things, so much in the physicality.
Even the spiritual part, even the spiritual, like I mean the spiritual, more, like maybe the new age kind of thinking, like of spirituality.
It's
Right? Is that what you're saying?
not really, but the whole.
What do you mean physical? The spiritual part.
The body, the fix this, fix that, fix that. Whereas, this new understanding we have, it all connects to the emotion 100%. There's nothing in the physicality that doesn't have a connection to the emotion. And we've clearly seen this, especially in the last 6 years with people doing massive fasting, because everything comes up to the surface, boy. Sooner or later, it's going to come up. And if we're not aware of what may come along and so on and so forth, it just throws us out of whack. And that's where the spirit makes a big difference, focusing on our divine creator and keeping that channel open as best we can. The truth flows through every single heart on this planet, pretty much.
For sure.
Maybe there's some people that have shut it off, but but if we all come from the same creator, that is flowing through, and it's the free will choices will decide if somebody wants to keep it open or not. And
We decide, yeah, we
that's
decide.
very evidence with Luciferic agenda going on this planet for thousands of years. And now this evil is showed his face like never before.
Oh, man, it is so freaking strong.
Oh
Jeez.
yeah, it's beautiful, Steve, because it's
Yes.
all being revealed,
Yes.
every aspect of it. And the more they push forward, the more is revealed. It's just,
it's been there all along.
of course it's been there all along, but it's being revealed
It's been revealed, yeah.
in everybody's face, and the masses are swallowing it up like like no tomorrow. It's like, holy mac, you can't see this stuff, what's happening. It's like, come on. Like was it today that's put that shared that article about the what are the stuff they're doing with the fetuses, the aborted fetuses and stuff. It's just complete Luciferic diabolic.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you read that article?
No, I did not.
Oh,
I'll look
gee.
at it after.
Like, I just don't understand, like, how people could even think about
It's
it.
60 million here in the United States since Roe v. Wade.
60 million abortions.
60 million abortions since Roe v.
60?
Wade. 60 million.
Abortions?
Yes.
Yeah, but this is people choosing, right?
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
available.
Yeah, but at the end, who is in control of this, really? The individual. You can't say it's my government. They didn't push me to have abortion.
Well, it has nothing to do with it. It's just since it became legal.
It's the us.
Yeah,
What's
but
wrong with us? Seriously, like
what's being put out there? It's okay to do it.
Sure.
Blah 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 blah, and they have the for support system to allow you to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Then they make their
Yeah, they
millions and
allow
millions
you.
of dollars on the fetuses.
they allow you, but they don't control you. They don't push you. They allow you.
Yeah,
So,
it's not about that.
But the thing is, yeah, you have to take full responsibility.
Of course.
Are you awakened? Like, are you connected to your creator, or are you just living? You know, like, it's very sad. You know, like this is for me. What's going on is nothing new. In fact, I in my life I have heard much more garbage. This is nothing to me. Seriously. This is nothing. I have seen people dying growing up, you know, like in yeah, it's true, it's in the news, but it's in the news and it's there and it's happening every day. Until today it's happening. It's too much. And these are people where we come from, okay, where my grandparents and my dad were born and raised. It's and you think this is a problem? As long as they don't knock on your door and push you to have a vaccine, okay.
Don't talk about that.
Yeah, well, as long as they don't push it. If they push, then you'll have to fight. I mean, yeah, sure, always stand up. I'm not saying sit down and do nothing about it. Of course, stand up for the truth, always. But this is nothing. Growing up, I have seen so much crap. This is nothing.
Who hasn't?
No, my dear, no, my dear. To see the teenagers lying on the street, shot dead because of whatever the occupation. Yeah, no, sorry. Until today, until yesterday, just yesterday, I saw the news again. It's disgusting, and it's still happening. You think these people care
It's
about?
Lucifer agenda.
Do you think
It's
these people
worldwide.
care about
It's
the
global.
freaking what's happening outside?
It's
Their
global.
lives are like they're being shot dead.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait to be sick. You're shot dead. Yeah, teenagers. It is crazy, man, what's happening, and this is nothing new. This has been happening since I was a kid, seeing bloodshed in the schools. You know, what is this? So at the end of the day, honestly, it's an individual journey, and we are always blessed, and we just have to be thankful. We have to be thankful for what we have. There are many more people who are disadvantaged in this world and they don't have what we have. So we thank God. And you're talking about distractions. I've seen it since I was born. Okay, distractions have always been around. And at the end of the day, it's the individual journey. Are you distracted or are you not? Are you following your heart, the truth, or are you not?
Hello, Barbara.
And it's just a given that the majority of people, we are designed to be distracted. We are designed to be distracted. So even to come close to the light, it's a challenge because you have to go against the masses, basically.
Mhm.
You have to be responsible.
I don't know if we're designed to be distracted.
Oh, for sure. Are you kidding me? Adam, if people believe in Adam was distracted. The first human on earth was distracted. Okay,
It was
most
Eve's
people
fault.
are not religious. Eve came from Adam, remember? Eve came from Adam. Eve came from Adam. Mhm. And who gave birth to you? Your
My
mother,
mama.
Your mother, exactly. Your beautiful mother. So I appreciate women because you know what? In my opinion, what's happening outside, there's a lot of aggression and we need some feminine love. Okay, because there's
Yeah,
the
there's
whole
a
thing,
balance.
the truth.
There's always
The
balance.
truth is love, and there is a lack of that. There is lack of that.
It's
Love and gentleness.
right now what we need is real men, more masculinity, because they freaking feminized the whole male population globally.
Real men, yeah, real men.
And that because that's the male is supposed to protect the feminine, right? The masculine is supposed to protect the feminine.
the families and the elderly. Yeah.
That they've attacked every aspect of the whole
Yeah.
balance of creation. They've
Like-
attacked it all.
Yeah,
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but we go back to the individual responsibility.
Yeah, it's
No.
always. But
No,
when they're putting chemicals in all your food, air, and water to feminize you, you're at a uphill battle all continuously.
You know,
So,
yeah,
you know,
sure, they can put garbage in your water. Okay, yeah, they are. I'm beyond, like, far away from defending garbage like that. But you go to the grocery store and you find a lot of garbage, and we choose to eat it. Okay, and most of us chose to eat it. When we had the choice to buy fruits and vegetables, we chose to eat garbage. So again, like, we can do better. That's all I'm saying. Right?
Barbara, how's it going?
Right or wrong?
Always.
Do you agree? We can do better. We can always do better.
if you have the means to. A lot of people do not have the means to,
Why?
because they are trapped in the system.
Yeah, but that's because inside their heart there is truth, and they are not. They are, with the will, they're choosing to be far away from that, right?
I think they're trapped and they don't have a way out and they don't know how to get out.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
So it doesn't become an individual choice. They don't know any different. If you're born, especially like they perpetuated the ghettos here in this country. They
Yeah.
made it a generational thing, so they don't know different.
Yeah,
I agree, like,
it's very interesting why we are, some people are, have amazing parents, and other people have, like, a little bit more difficult parents.
Well, why is it that only a small portion of the 8 billion people that are here are becoming awake? Why is it such a small portion?
Because we're designed to be distracted.
No,
No,
Excuse me?
no,
Yeah, Adam was distracted.
no, because of the powers that be.
The Luciferic
But
agenda.
they are distracted.
Absolutely.
They are individuals.
They know what they're doing.
They're individuals and they're distracted. And you
And
are distracted because they're
They're
distracted.
trapped. They're
Yeah.
trapped.
and
They don't
what
know-
about
they don't know any different. That's the thing I'm trying to get through. It's-
I
But
hear you.
what they did here with the black people, and when, especially with all the civil rights bullshit, it was never about civil rights. It was always about enslavement. They're still enslaved. And all they did is move them into the ghettos and put them on the government dole. So they've been trapped for generations after generation after generation. They do not know any different. They are born into it and
Yeah.
they've never been exposed to anything different.
Yeah. Although I have to say that if you're connected to God, you'll know different. You will know your value. Seriously, go to the religious people, Christians.
From my interaction with the black folk that I deal with here, that I have, guys in the garden, they are very spiritual. They have a strong belief in God, very much more than any white people I know.
Yeah, it depends. It depends. Some people are, like, when I say religious, some people are religious, spiritually religious. Other people are just praying as a culture.
Mhm.
But you gotta be spiritually religious. And there are people who are like Christians, and I've seen beautiful Christians and beautiful Muslims, and these ones, you can, whatever you do to them, nothing will affect them. You try to put them down, you can't. It's impossible because they're connected.
But see, the culture they were born into, and this has been perpetuated here in my country, is that, and they're exposed to the truth, but they're still on the old thought processes of what they were born into. See,
The thought process of what?
sure, the way they perceive their perception of the world and life.
Who is this again?
I'm talking about the black people here in this country.
Right.
Just because I have some knowledge of it, very
Right.
little bit.
Right.
But it's been perpetuated, through the generations.
Yeah, I hear you. I know when it's.
So again, I go back to what I just said before. Why is it such a small portion of humanity of the 8.5 billion people that are alive are awake?
Because I believe we designed,
The agenda.
when we designed this,
Exactly, that's exactly.
that's
I don't think it's much.
the plan.
Look, it's the same thing when I got sober. I had no choice. I had no choice to do what I had to do. I had to do what I was doing, no matter what. I did it no matter what. Anything that got in the way of it was removed. Up until the point where I was able to put the drink down, and then I regained the choice. From that point, it becomes my responsibility. Prior to that, it was not I was not responsible for it because I didn't know any different. I was trapped in it. Once I had the choice,
Steve, can you
now it's
check,
mine. Now it becomes my responsibility. See,
Yeah, Steve, is your microphone on
yes,
today? Yeah.
can you check your Zoom if it's on that mic?
you can't hear me?
Well, it's kind
I
of
can hear you.
echoey.
God damn, it's a new mic too.
No, but make sure Zoom is connected on it in the settings, because sometimes they switch.
Ah, yeah, because last time it was better. Barbara, you were getting.
Yeah, I want to talk. I just
Yeah.
unmuted. I realized I was muted. Yeah, believing in science, right? It says that if we look at where life came onto this planet, and then we look at where human beings came into being, then we see we're like about I'm sorry, we're about 2 seconds into it, and that's what, like, I was going to this 12-step meeting because when I started chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo 53 years ago, one of the first things that started happening was someone wanted me to come to a 12-step meeting that was for children of alcoholic parents, which she was. And even though I wasn't, the fact, my mom lived through the Holocaust kind of qualified us, to be people that, like, I'd be letting myself run out of gasoline more than once. And they were talking about that. And I'm like, oh man, I needed this class in high school, and I was so impressed to hear people talking about love. It was the one place I could, see people talking about love and just putting their whole lives into wanting, to have integrity and to be able to represent that. But people would close open meetings because I would show up and I would go like, you guys, you're so beautiful. I don't think you know how beautiful. And people would be walking out. And then I'm like, oh, you know how you're talking about no drugs? But that coffee pot over there and the sugar you're using. And I'm like, but it's okay. I brought my juicer and I've got celery and carrots. And, people would want to close, open meetings, and people would walk out. And yeah, and I just realized, I was doing anything wrong. I was just a little bit too, and Winnie the Pooh, like Tiger, Tigger, two tigers jumping in and, bouncing into people. But, I'm learning how, how to be there and how to communicate by bringing laughter yoga to a camp out. And yeah, when you see, like, we're just, we're so new. And then I started realizing a lot of these people going to NA meetings come from, my Jewish background and, what's up with this? And then I realized, the women who, they say if the mother's Jewish and the baby's Jewish, and the women are shaving their heads and wearing wigs and hats. And where that came from, most people don't know where that came from. And where it came from was just like when I was young, and it was gay bashing, people be driving around and looking for gay people to beat up, in like in Russia and places in Poland, if they knew that in the Jewish environment there was going to be a wedding, like people thought it was funny, to come into that ghetto area and rape the bride before her wedding, So instead of doing the thing that, like, a lot of males will do, I gotta go fight them. How dare they do that, to the woman I love, right? They got this thing, the women well, then I'll just lose you too, then you're going to get killed, or you're going to get maimed, or you're going to kill somebody. And how's
Why
that
is
going to
that?
help?
Is it because they were unable to practice the religion in the Soviet, right?
Yeah, but no, I mean, things were, if we really, we're looking at slavery, and we're looking at how people have been treating people forever, people thought, I mean, they just thought it was funny or something, to,
Yeah.
come into the Jewish ghetto and rape the women. So they'd say, well, if the mother's Jewish and the baby's Jewish, for one thing, then, the mother could feel free to love her child. And then the community, could feel free to love that child and not be prejudiced against those babies coming out of rape. Same thing with the shaving the heads, they said, well, maybe if we make ourselves so we'll be unattractive, to other people, but the men who love us will still love us, even if we're bald, So that's where these strange, traditions and rituals and, have come from. But I thought, man, how that affected these men, because I know it's like so, inside to, if anyone hurt your sister or, your lover or your mom, to want to go
Yeah,
get them, right? But
sure.
it just made sense. Yeah,
Wrong is wrong, Barbara. Wrong is wrong. There's no question about it. Wrong is wrong.
yeah,
I don't care
yeah. And
where you come from. Wrong is wrong. We are all humans. We can't hear you.
how do we respond to this? They weren't able to respond because, if they were responding the way they wanted to, then they would, go and create more, more violence, more damage, more hurt. So they decided not to do that. So instead, if the mom's Jewish, the baby's Jewish, and the women, making themselves bald at that time as a way to respond. But I think, generations later, the stuff that we're carrying, with like, how to protect the people that you love, and without creating more hate and more damage. And so so we've got these 12-step meetings now, that people are talking about, how wanting to hide in drugs. And when I worked with
Hello?
kids from the
You're cutting out.
You're cutting out the connection.
14 to 19, and it was kind of like a reforms. Yeah. It was dealing with delinquent youth, and the movie that we'd see was one called Alcohol, America's Drug of Choice. And you'd say how many people, had violence happen, and there was alcohol related to it, or went through, think you wouldn't be here, without that added problem in your life. And
Yeah.
and that was the job I got fired from. And this was funny because at that time, I kept getting fired from jobs with people going, well, we have to let you go, not because you're bad, but because you're too good. I heard that working at the state hospital, the mental hospital in Florida. And this job, I got fired because they said, we think you're a rape risk because you let these boys get too close to you. I was like, because I could never be the person that, cross their arms. Okay, give me 15 push-ups. That's never really been me. So, as we're watching ourselves evolve to where now I can actually sit in 12-step meetings and breathe and try to understand, why I would feel at home there and why, I couldn't be accepted. And then when I showed up trying to talk about that this person I loved turned out to be a pedophile, and that's really a hard one, trying to figure out, what to do with your feelings and your love,
Barbara, hello? Hello? Hello?
like that,
Hello?
right?
You're cutting out,
Hello?
Barbara.
You keep cutting out, Barbara. Hello?
Yeah, wrong is wherever we are, we're whoever we are, it's and we know what's wrong and what's right. We know it in our hearts.
Um,
Barbara,
Barbara,
you are cutting out.
no connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mute her. Stuck in a loop.
Yeah.
Barbara, we can.
I hear that. We can't deal with that. So I think there's just a
Barbara,
God.
Barbara, we can't hear you.
Barbara, we can't hear you. You've been cutting out for the last minute. You're,
okay. You can hear me now, right?
Yeah,
now we
that's
can,
good.
but for a minute, you're just,
Yeah.
we couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, and you guys were frozen. I got to see you
Yeah.
guys being frozen.
Frozen too,
It's,
yeah, I think.
it's your internet.
You're in.
I'm right now. I'm in Tennessee. I'm in Nashville, with my daughter, who has an 18-month-old, and she's halfway through a pregnancy with another little boy. And I'm here going, man, I want to like bring love into this environment. It kills me to have had very good experiences with childbirth and hear the way people talk about that now, and you want to shake people and go, it can be a good experience. I know it for a fact, let me try to help, let me try to teach. And I think we're just we're just starting to have like the courage and the ability to communicate with each other. It took me such a long time to ever be able to speak to you. I would like, Bernie would turn on my friend who owned Aventura Natural Health. Like he wanted me to know you, but he was the one who didn't want me to turn the lights on in the room. He didn't want to be seen or heard, didn't really want me to talk, just wanted to listen. And and it takes courage, because now we're feeling each other more. Um when we're distracted, we're watching a movie, we're not even feeling our own lives. And I think as people are starting to unite and communicate more, yeah, it takes a lot of heart, because I look to see, are you looking well, or how's your relationship? um, and coming to, appreciate everybody more. And I loved it when I heard when people were leaving Russia, like from the community, like the Hub Village people would cry because like someone was leaving the environment. And I've had that one time in my life. This couple showed up at my door and I said, nobody's going to live here if they do anything self-destructive. And, just people that want to get healthy. And this couple showed up chain smoking. He was alcoholic. Interesting couple. She was a Jewish girl. Both her parents were doctors, but they were Holocaust survivors and came from that. And his mom was an Indian in Oklahoma, where I know people were doing terrible things, to the Indians in Oklahoma. And she had 11 illegitimate children. Olin said she would hand him a gun, he was still like a kid, and go try to kill something so we have food. But listening to how different people have grown up and getting out of the comfort of our own cultures, our own families, where we feel safe and we feel loved, right? And thinking, through this distance and through what money we do and we don't have and all that, we're really going to develop community, and we're going to network, and we're going to help create these schools. And I wanted to share that, I talked about the documentary, right, where I want to show young people, I want them to see something that's positive and beautiful, because they turn on the news and just crazy stuff, that people are hearing. And I'm having younger people say, we don't have faith in the future right now, and we're just trying to hold on to you. So that means Yeah, so we've got to be people that you know, that can inspire. And I know when I first started this Buddhist practice, what encouraged me so much is if just two people could play, you know, two people that were in leader positions could like laugh together and play with each other. You know, I'd love to be around that energy, right? Because I think it's still very rare to have, you know, that kind of, oh no, baby's crying, that kind of love and trust, you know.
Yeah, we were saying how fasting, you know, for us to you know, to really keep going with more fasting days, we have we have to make sure it's a spiritual experience. I mean, not make sure, it has to be a spiritual experience. And this way it just flows, it just happens without an effort. And
Mhm.
you know, we are different in a way with our spiritual experiences. And I was saying how it's for me it's important to have a structured religion that I follow, and I can see that with many other, you know, different people who practice religiously the
Mhm.
spirituality, you know.
Mhm.
And uh, it's different for sure. It's different, and it makes fasting much easier because it's just you know, you make it basically dedicated to God, you know, rather than to the physical
Mhm.
of anything, even like letting go of food. um uh, it is much nicer to let go of food um as a sacrifice rather than because
Yeah.
you know, when you attach it to sacrifice, that's what religions are all about. They teach you to sacrifice, really, and give, and um you know, give of yourself to others.
Did you want to hear something interesting? Like I haven't been with this daughter, you know, and her significant other, the baby's daddy, in months and months. And I come here and they have pure Concord grape and lemon in the refrigerator because there's still you know, they're wanting to have faith, you know, they're wanting to see something more beautiful. And even though, you know, they weren't doing it, I'm seeing that that family and friends, like when I talk about this documentary, people are buying me these GoPros that you put on your phone and something else that's you know, that sheds light on the people that are being interviewed. So the first interview, you know, I talk about the power that I see and the healing that's taking place in women bonding. And this guy's wanting to talk about men bonding because he said like they're playing some kind of martial arts thing, playing, you know, and what he said, he's able to get out, release a lot of anger um, in this play. And then he's seeing his back pain is going away. And I know so many people right now complaining about back pain, you know?
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you love your jiu-jitsu. You know, when Gino goes to jiu-jitsu, he it's like playing. He
Let's
loves it.
talk about the back pain.
Yeah,
With back pains, you know, kidneys. So many people.
right. But she's saying
Yeah.
releasing anger through playing.
Yeah.
And I see, you know,
And fear, anger and fear.
when I
Yeah.
went to jiu-jitsu with him a couple of times, I can see the men are like releasing a lot of anger towards the woman, even me, you know, when they're like, the teacher's a man. And he's like grabbing my hair, you know, like I'm like, whoa. But you like, I feel like they're releasing it, something that they wanted to do, but they don't get to do outside. So now it's okay. It's yeah, like I feel this is how it is
How are you
with
gonna learn if
Okay.
you don't do it?
jiu-jitsu, you know? Yeah, but
You
I
gotta
know,
do
but
it.
you're releasing a lot.
It's like fasting. How are you gonna learn
It's
how are you gonna learn
you're
to get
releasing
anything
aggression.
if you don't fast? If you can talk about it all you want,
I'm
nothing's gonna
saying
happen.
you're releasing aggression
Yeah, you release
in
aggression with
jiu-jitsu.
any exertion of physical exercise.
which is
it's all kind of forms of
Anyways.
release,
yeah,
exercise.
it's yeah, not any exercise. Jujitsu, I feel like you get angry, and it's
There's
okay.
no anger.
I mean, yeah, I know, but like you almost get
To
angry.
release it.
Of course, you control yourself, but you almost. I mean, like it was very interesting,
There's
right?
no anger for me.
It was very interesting to see how they play it. They play it like it's almost you're aggressive, but you're not because you're not really doing it. You know, you're not
Uh-huh.
hitting someone, but you almost are, and like you know, you're close to, which is very interesting. I found it interesting. Unlike it's not like yoga, you know. You're grabbing someone, you know, like you really grab someone. Sometimes the teacher would say, "Hit me as you know, for like as strong as you can," you know. I'm like, I'm worried. I'm worried about him. 'Cause I can.
Yeah. I find I've been able to release a lot of emotion with laughter yoga and just talking gibberish. You know, there's so many ways that we help each other heal. You know, I notice if you can touch someone while you're expressing compassion, that there's a connection between the compassionate words and the actual physical touch that helps people.
Yeah.
You're gone again.
Communicate more effectively.
Hi,
Oh,
Carrie. Carrie. Nice to see you, Gino.
Right, Carrie?
yeah, I probably should. Now everyone's in bed because I have the baby, but I'll be able to find out to connect with their Wi-Fi here. I believe. Let's see. I'll try to do that right now and see if that helps. Because I just kind of got here.
Yeah, we keep losing you.
Here. Okay, setting
Yeah. So
Wi-Fi
what else?
not connected.
What's new? How are you, Paula? Hi, Carrie. Yeah.
We
what's
are in wonderful
new?
times.
Hmm.
It's a lot of people are going to be leaving this planet. Large numbers.
It's okay.
And
It is. You just do your best in this world, and leave the rest to God. Because it's you know, to think about this too much can be
because we'll not do anything. Leave everything to God. Just sit down. Do
no, I
nothing.
never said that. Never said that. It's the opposite. If you think about how scary, like how bad things are, you're gonna be paralyzed.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I've been seeing international.
suicide. There are people, a person we know who committed suicide. She could not take the negativity that's going on outside.
Mhm.
Maybe we need to protect ourselves a little bit from the.
If you're being attacked, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
If you're being attacked,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you're being, well, the whole planet is being attacked right now.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
People don't.
Well, I tell my
people
daughter
don't even
some.
know it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm telling my daughter some of us have developed tools like I've come to understand about suicide because I kind of like felt that this year, you know, so I could really understand it. And I said, it's like, you know, you're falling into this really deep, deep hole. But, you know, I said, you know, we're lucky, you know, some people, because we have tools to be able to pull ourselves up and out of that, you know, we don't have to stay there. And then there's other people that they don't have those tools yet, you know. And I know when I'm praying for, you know, people living and dead, you know, that with this, you know, idea of us staying connected and people coming back. But I've been watching movies, the International Film Festival, and the ones when it was coming out of Palestine and when it was coming out of Israel. And when anyway, they're really hard to see because people are getting better and better at expressing their suffering, expressing their pain, you know, to people that will go to the art theaters and watch, you know, what won the International Film Festival awards. And yeah, it's taking, you know,
I feel, you know,
a lot of heart and courage.
movie.
But more and more people are fasting, but I'm running into they're doing the inter intermediate intermittent and something like that fasting.
Oh, intermittent fasting.
Intermittent
Yeah, well,
fasting.
master fast is an intermittent fasting
Hmm.
because when we eat, the idea is to eat within 3 hours.
Yeah, you have windows of fasting each day. So, that's how the hybrid is structured. There's some people who just can't conceive of going a day without food,
Hmm.
but they can do so many hours per day.
Right, which is good, yeah, because it's baby steps, right?
Hmm. I have one friend who's obese, but he believes that he has to eat to keep him from getting angry. That's how.
For sure. I mean, come on. I mean,
Well, because what happens when you start detoxing, the
for
emotions
sure.
come up. And
Mhm.
when somebody's obese or overweight or whatever, there's a lot of toxins in there.
I
And
mean,
when they go without meals for any length of time, they start detoxing to some degree.
and when we eat and go back to fasting, we detox again and we get the emotional stuff again.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure, to a lesser degree over time, but we do detox and after eating, and it's an emotional, really maybe mainly emotional detox with the fasting, but also physical, of course. We release a lot of stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, and I try, and then you wonder, like, I watched somebody die of obesity, and this person, the last 7 years of their life, they couldn't walk anymore. They couldn't come out of the room. I mean, it's a terrible thing. And then when you're seeing someone going in that direction, the question is, do I try to tell them what I saw? These questions are coming up a lot. I'm watching the way they're teaching babies to swim right now. And it's just, they're letting them like scream and be scared and swallow water. And I know a baby who died from swallowing pool water, and it's like, do I express this, to the teacher who's making an awful lot of money? Because a lot, people are still so manipulated because by fear, right? By fear and punishment. Oh, well, babies drown, so you have to do this. You have to treat your child this way. And, and the women who are looming right now, the idea is that we're creating, we're taking away a society that's been built so far out of fear and punishment, and we're creating a gifting society. So we get to hear each other's dreams and goals, and we get to gift into each other to help make those happen, with the idea that we're all going to have a turn to be the person that's being gifted to. We're taking turns doing that. And it's a beautiful concept. It's hard to make it move forward, though. It's hard to believe in ourselves that much. But it's about, like, supposed to communicate like twice a day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, I want to say something about, like, when I say do your best and leave the rest to God, some people say, yeah, sure, you might as well like leave it all to God. Why? Why do
Yeah.
you say like that? It's wrong. I am sorry.
Mhm.
The
I
most
agree with you.
important, the people who are close to God are in my opinion, are gonna be the ones who take care of themselves and take the most responsibility. So it's the
I haven't
exact
seen that.
opposite. It's
Mhm.
okay because you're looking at many religious people today, the modern kind of religious cultural thing, who are not really spiritual about their practice, religious practice, and it must be spiritual. Like you can practice the Christian religion all you want, but if you're not spiritual about it, it doesn't make sense. And same thing with Islam or any other like Jewish or any other
Mhm.
religious practice. If you are not spiritual, if it's not from your spirit connected, then sure,
Yeah.
you're gonna be another distracted human being, religious or not.
Yeah.
You have to be spiritual about your practice.
Yeah. So we're trying to.
Love the fact that it is religious because it means it's structured. Sorry, Barbara?
I was gonna say, so I think we're talking about we need to start learning how to love each other and how to let ourselves be loved, is because I know I started loving fasting because it was a religious ritual I got to do with my family, and I know my daughter Sarah, before she went to Israel, she had a Buddha tattooed on her neck, which she knew was totally breaking all rules. But we both love that song, the country song, Jesus Take the Wheel. Did you ever hear it before? It's this girl and she has a baby and out, take the wheel. And then the baby, they all survive. And yeah, and Sarah and I go, we that hearing that song, whether we believe it or not, was kind of fun and comforting in a funny way.
Yeah.
Not to. I didn't.
We're losing you again.
That music. Music helps connect people. They say the Beatles connected people around the world. About
Sure, music
trying
connect.
to, yeah. Try to be more loving.
Music is very powerful, and that's why who runs the music industry on this planet. They know where to go and how to control people.
Yeah, music can be distracting
industry, the film industry, it's all completely Luciferic infiltrated.
Yeah, I can see music being distracting.
They've went to
from the
frequencies that they know will cause dissonance and chaos in the physicality. They didn't do it because they pulled it out of the hat.
But yeah, my religion of choice is the one that goes, that Luciferic influence. I've got it, my job is to to find it in me, and then I think about a little kid, if they can touch a button and it just goes diddy 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 diddy, or if they could touch when they goes they'll go after the most stimulating one a lot of the time, even
without aggression, gentle way of communicating, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, I can see, yeah, for sure. I mean, the movie industry and come on, it's full of garbage. I'm sorry. There's so much garbage all around us, and it's fine.
I know, and I want to help create a movie that's not that,
Yeah, but what I'm
I'd
saying,
like to do that together.
Wrong is wrong. Like you were saying, raping a woman, that is wrong. I am sorry. That is wrong, right? So yes, we want to see it, and we want to see the beauty in everything, but some stuff are wrong, and it must be stopped. They just must be stopped. As much as we love every human being, some things must be you have to have boundaries, otherwise you're gonna have people stepping all over you. You have to have boundaries, right? Which is fine. I mean, loving boundaries, totally fine, but you have to protect yourself.
So Malala, or Malele, the one who won the Nobel Peace Award, the young girl who was shot in the face, right, in the head, and survived because she was talking about the importance of education for females. And I have a friend who just wrote a book called that women need to boss up. That we need to stand out so that, so women are being more respected and protected, and respecting ourselves more and protecting ourselves.
Men are all gone.
Is the idea.
Both of us, we all have to stand up, the women and the men, we all have to stand up for the truth and help each other. We have to defend the men, we have to defend the women, in a good way,
I know, because I want to fight Gino and say, what's wrong with being a pussy, Gino? What's wrong with being feminized? Isn't that a good thing?
But
and I thought the most intimate thing, I loved it when you said to me, and you said isn't my husband handsome? You know, you said something like that. You were like, and I love that, you know, that you'd be like that open, you know, with your feelings. And
Yeah,
I thought we are going to build a community together in this life.
We don't start fights, we end them. You know,
yeah.
it's,
Gino might look strong, but he's a very peaceful guy. I mean, yeah, you need a strong guy to be peaceful, you know.
Yeah.
Strong heart to be peaceful. A peaceful man.
violence, I don't tolerate violence. It's disgusting violence. It's there's no form of violence is
Accepted.
yeah. So
And it's okay, you know, some people went through what they went through in life, and they are maybe aggressive. And we as long as it's controllable, we help each other, you know. Totally fine.
how
So I
can-
know the media, and this is what we have right now going
Around
on.
us.
It's
Look around.
powerful.
It's within us, aggression. So of course it can, you know, like I'm saying, if it's controllable, you know, you're not doing something extremely wrong. If you're doing something extremely wrong, then yeah, you need help. But I mean, we don't need to go to the extreme and be angels here, okay? We all do mistakes, and it's okay.
Mhm.
You know, we don't have to be perfect. We're not God. And
even trying to figure out what's a mistake. You know, I know when I was little and I went fishing with my dad, we went on a fishing boat, and that was such an, and you know, it's being in nature and being with my dad, and you know, now it's like I'm not okay with, you know, catching fish on hooks, you know.
mhm.
But there was something, yeah, or just trying to figure it all out, like why does a cow have like 4 huge udders, you know, filled with milk if it's just as one calf? Is it not wanting to share with people and nurture people, you know? And will they not exist if people stop like being violent, you know, to animals? And is that okay? You know, all these like silly questions, right? But yeah, I think you know, creating communities and creating schools where kids can be in nature and they can be around laughter and love, you know, music and play, and yeah, and yeah, right now that's not who's
It's challenging raising kids, in my opinion, in an environment like you know, most cities. You know, it really is challenging. Um, I would probably want to have, you know, homeschool my kids, knowing what I know.
yeah, that's what I would do. Homeschool, it's the best.
You know, I want them to be more free to
Because
learn.
the communities that the people that gather who are homeschooling their kids, um, you know, they're doing good. They're having fun. They're taking their kids to art galleries and museums and science things, nature.
And teach them to be strong. So you know, teach them the truth, so they know what's distraction and what's true. This is I believe is very, very, very important, and I feel it's lacking in most homes, the distraction from the truth. You know, there's truth.
That's why it's good we're doing this, and it's good to make documentaries of trying to show people things that are beautiful, they can have hope in, you know, that we're creating, that we're showing that.
There are
And
many
so many
that
in
change.
so many cities, so many communities now, so many people making community gardens, you know, like free food for the people in the most ghetto areas. That's happening too. That's just not getting all the being
Attention.
voiced, you know, being felt as much as the complaining and the negative stuff, because somehow people think we're being smart if we're complaining, you know, and that there's intelligence in doing that. And
I mean,
that's
it's good to know. It's really very good to know and be aware about what's happening outside. At the same time, also, it's good to think about the solutions. And that, I would say most people are doing that, that I know, you know, people around me. Some people are talking about the negative stuff because it's right in our face now more than ever. But it was always there. And I thank God that it's coming to the surface, because it's about
yeah, me too.
It's really about time to stop the garbage that's out there. And I feel this is our chance, our gift, our blessing to get it over with and move on and do whatever we really want to do, all of us, you know. Right?
They've been poisoning the food, the air, the water. the
Everything.
music.
But instead of this like they, that there's this they that's doing
Yeah,
that, you know,
Who is
and
it?
we're not the they, we are.
I'll tell you.
Barbara, you never acknowledge that there is this entity out there that is evil.
It's a force.
You always
Yeah,
question this they.
but the they is us, you know, like we met the
No,
enemy
it's
and it's
not.
us.
No, it is not.
Okay,
Totally separate beings, I believe. Absolutely.
this is
No way
where-
they're human.
Okay, we know there's so much garbage. There's without denial, this is for sure, 100%. There's so much garbage. It's been always
You
there.
can't fix this system with this system. That's what you're trying to do. You cannot fix this junk.
Okay, but I want to ask
take
you,
it out.
do you know, I mean, you're in the United States, right? So
Yep.
do you know who the commissioners are in your area? Right now, I'm trying to communicate with the mayor, and just one email goes to the mayor and like 7 commissioners, people that are, you know, deciding where the money goes, where the tax money
It's
goes.
designed that way.
Huh?
It's designed it's been designed over years like this, so you cannot, there's no accountability with these folks.
Yeah, but I'm trying to be accountable myself. I'm trying to like
That's all we-
communicate.
But that's the they that you keep denying. That is the they. That is the structure, the power structure that you don't want to acknowledge.
It's the me.
That's who
It's
that
the,
they is. No, it's not you. You're
yeah,
trying to change it. It is
No.
not, it is not us. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
We
absolutely,
are
yeah,
it's our
responsible.
lack of communication.
We've allowed it.
I agree with both of you, yes. There's a lot of garbage. There's a lot of garbage without denial. I have seen garbage. I'm honestly, I would say since I started like comprehending stuff,
Mhm.
garbage is out there and it's disgusting. Okay, there's so much disgusting stuff without a question. Okay, this is out of the argument. Now, what I believe the best thing is to just do your best, okay, and be careful, you know, to we can fall into the trap of like, oh my god, this is happening, oh my god, this is happening, oh this too many news and it's all bad and it's just too much. And you know, I believe in God, and I believe that God created us
Mhm.
with the ability to choose, right? We have a will.
Mhm.
So we choose do our best if we want.
Mhm.
Do our best and we leave the rest to God. Because that's the whole idea, anyways, in my opinion, of faith. You've got to have blind faith, meaning you have to, yes, see what's happening, but
Mhm.
ultimately, you have to allow whatever is out of your hands to just take place. It's out of your
Yeah.
hands. Allow it. It's okay. Let it go. We're gonna try to control the world. It's impossible. We can hardly control ourselves.
Mhm.
So I say just let it go. Do your best with like sit down and write on paper. What is the best I can do in this case? Isn't this what we always say? Do the best in the situation you're in. Right? This is what I always say.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So
Remember,
they know what they're doing.
for the master fast, you say,
Yeah.
do your best in the situation you're in. And that's what we want to do now. Okay.
Yeah,
Just do your best.
but you need to know what's going on.
Yeah,
You
know
need to know.
what's
How do you take
going
on
on.
something that is at a force that if you don't know about it, if you don't know
But
anything about it, you
why-
can't handle it.
My question is, how come we ignored this for until today? Like until a year ago. Yeah, how come we ignored it for so
I've
long?
known about this for over 20 years.
Okay, you can know about it. You can know about it,
We
but
knew it was coming. We didn't know it was gonna be like this.
you didn't complain about it nearly as much. But it was always around, the same force, exactly the same force. It didn't get stronger. It was maybe stronger before. You know?
I hitchhiked
They
to
were in the
Woodstock,
shadows.
and then
They
and
were
I
in the
hitchhiked.
shadows before. Now they're coming to the light of day.
Now they are.
As
Being
Yeah,
exposed
I-
by the day. They're being exposed. Everything's being
Yeah,
exposed.
more, I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah, but they were always there. I
So-
mean, things were disgusting for a long time.
Mhm. When I was at Woodstock, and then I brought my cousin when it turned, to what did it turn? When we thought the computers were gonna all like fall apart because they wouldn't know what to do, when it became 2000, yeah, that whole thing. And it was like Woodstock. All these kids went to be with the Seminole
We lost
there,
you.
And I'm like, what's the difference between your generation, and my generation? And what I was seeing is they were proud, they were cleaning up after themselves. And I thought, yeah, that's people evolving. And also they weren't like gonna let themselves steal from other people, which in Woodstock, people were doing that. Someone was trying to sell, I think it was hot dogs. They're like, we're liberating this for the people. And these guys, they were actually proud that they were paying their own way. But then the sad part was that in Woodstock, we were all like out of our cars when we got stuck, and entertaining each other, meeting each other. And here the guys are staying in their campers, their RVs with their air conditioning and their TVs. And I went, so yeah, so how we help the things move in the right direction. But I think people are evolving, but it's kind of slow.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
And it gets scary. It gets scary. But oh my gosh, you see some of these movies about, what's happened in the past, and things that are happening now, and how do we change it? But it's a lot. I think it's gentler now.
We have to start with ourselves. There's no other way.
Mhm.
See that change and focus on that.
it's the
But
only way.
You have to know what's going on out there.
So I need to know if Steve is he my friend or my foe? Would he like me to not be here? or
Of course not.
Mhm.
Uh,
Conversation,
oh,
Right.
opposing views, that's all. It's no big deal.
Yeah. I used to say I thought women that we could like get real emotional, but we'd still keep working together. But I guess that's people, can have a safe place to have strong feelings. It's like good friends, right?
yeah, women and men are definitely different from each other.
A little.
You think?
Yeah, we're just different. We're both beautiful, but different. Yeah, it's good to work on ourselves for sure, and have more good women and good men out there, because both of them are, can help transform this world, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm watching like where I live on the beach, watching all these like really tough women. And they come to the beach, they're all alone, and they've got their paddle boards, and they don't need help from anyone because they're like manning up, right? Yeah, right.
Most attractive woman is a strong, confident being.
Yeah.
And I like sensitive.
I
Yeah.
men.
never was attracted to weak women.
I find, yeah, attractive women and men are ones who are close to God. Even men.
Yep.
Men, yeah. I love it. They have something special about them, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Mhm. Right now I belong to what our friend who named herself Goddess named us the Pussy Posse. And they go to the ocean where the sun comes up and come out and like go into singing and dancing and just feeling so happy and so free. But yeah, I wonder, I'm thinking, God, what's gonna happen when men are doing this too? Like one guy, Pedro, he somehow he got himself he wiggled his way into the pussy pussy. So sometimes when we're taking pictures and Goddess likes to go, pussy power, and it makes people laugh and smile and all. And then the one time that Pedro was with us and I was going, yeah, and penis power too. And everyone kind of like, you know, what? But yeah, he's funny. He'll come and he brings wonderful music and he'll put like, really great blanket we can all sit on. But, he'll keep his distance so that, we can feel comfortable to dance around and be singing and feel so free, and we're trying to talk about, and we're always hugging in the ocean, we're always laughing and hugging, the right side, the left side, near the heart. And yeah, and the woman who actually started Soul Happening, though, she won't let him be part of that. And I'm trying to ask him how he feels about, being part of that. Like, we're in the ocean and we're not dressed, and he hasn't really been able to tell me yet. He's really sensitive to, why he feels. I guess he's feeling a little prejudiced against by our friend Goddess. But I think, we say that's her way of protecting her marriage, because she's been with someone. She has a good marriage for 23 years. They brought laughter yoga to South Florida together. And he's so amazing because he'll let her and he'll support her to go on all these adventures. Like, she was reading a book that was saying whales and dolphins that are matriarchal species. They want to teach human women how to be more loving. So she read this book. So then she got to fly to Bimini, and the last day, and they would go out into the ocean where wild dolphins would come up, and they'd be told, like, don't grab the dolphins, but let them touch you. And the last day, 21 people went out, with this boat, and 21 dolphins showed up. And Goddess came back with this breathing exercise for us to do that just brought us, was so intense, just brought us to like our biggest fears really quickly. And we kind of backed away from a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I just think, man, she's so lucky because Noah will say, like, he feels grateful that, he can support her in doing these things. And that's amazing, right? And she believes that what men want to see more than anything is their women smile. And I'm also told this in this Buddhist meeting too, like a boy who can remember, his mom smiling at him. Like if people come in the room, do we let them feel like, oh, we're so glad to see you. You're so beautiful to me. Welcome, welcome. Or I think a lot of mothers would go like, that skirt's too short. Clean your feet before you come in this house. Stuff like that, right? That, for us to like work on our greetings, how we make people feel upon approaching us. And I've got that information in my head, but trying to get it in my body. Right? Yeah.
What's happening with your fasting, Barbara?
Well, I just showed up here with my daughter, my pregnant daughter, to find out that they stocked their refrigerator with Concord grape juice and lemons. And I brought my kidney tea, and I brought my tinctures that I'm coming to the end. So, I have, and I actually brought my own. I did what you said, even though some of the bottles say, expired in 2017, that I'm just boiling, the grape extract and using it anyway. It seemed to be okay doing that.
The juice?
The juice?
Yeah.
It's expired?
I wouldn't worry about the date.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can taste it, right?
It tastes good.
They have to put dates on the regulations.
Mm-hmm.
People think it hits that date and it's expired. Like, I don't know where's common sense, but there is.
Okay. Yeah.
Things will. There's some things like.
Like dairy, you have to be careful.
Yes, well, they're careful. It just ferments. That will go off.
Yeah, it goes off.
But hey, all is well. The simplicity of living a fasting lifestyle. That's what we want to focus on. Really is keep everything very, very basic, very simple, very minimal. It's this is where the true freedom's at, where you don't have to worry about your next meal.
And I find out like the more I go into the ocean, like the easier it gets, you know, and other people are going, oh, it's too cold, or, you know, how can you do that? And, you know, it seems the more we're with nature, the more we're actually, you know, physically with nature, so that, you know, it's pleasurable, you know, it's not, there's, I mean, there's something to what I'm saying, where one time when I was having a hard time and I started like running in the morning, and I went up to this tree to hug it, and I said, like, right now you feel like you could just be plastic to me, but in the future I'm going to know you're alive. I'm going to be able to feel your life, and you're going to be able to feel my life too, because I'm going to be alive too. And after doing that for a couple of weeks, I actually got to climb the tree. That was so exciting. And a bird came and landed in the tree I was in. And I thought, I think when we're doing the right thing, like nature so rewards us, you know,
Definitely
we get rewarded by that. Yeah.
work harmony with nature is always rewarding. You know,
Mhm.
when we work in the destructive manner, it's just destruction comes out of nature's always trying to fix itself, but man's doing just a
Mhm.
great job at, you know, raping and pillaging and destroying everything. It's causing
But
havoc.
you know, it's a good movie to see is Mission Mangal. It's a Bollywood movie, and it's a true story about the first spaceship. And stop me if I said this before, but it's the true story of the first spaceship that went to Mars. And and it was with the people that the top scientists, they took away his funding. And so instead of being able to have the top scientists, he got like the young women who were hired to be, you know, helpers, right? And this old guy and this really nerdy guy, and this is a true story. And and the old guy figured out to make a cheap spaceship that they used recycling plastics. And when they were trying to figure out how they wouldn't have like enough fuel, this woman, because of cooking, what she did with cooking, like she knew, you know, you could make the oil so hot and then you could turn off the fire and it would still cook for a long time. And they actually accomplished the first rocket ship that went to Mars, and it's called Mission Mangal, and it's almost an accurate documentary, except for the one part where they all stop and they start singing and dancing because it's a Bollywood movie. Yeah, and they tend to be really uplifting so much of the time, and I love the true stories. But they used recycling plastic to make that happen.
There's lots of it on the planet today, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Very first piece of plastic that was ever made is still here.
Yep. When did they start making plastic?
30s, I think.
30s?
I think. If not before.
Wow.
Almost 100 years.
DuPont, I think, was the company that came.
You know, we're so evolved. It shows that in this movie that we actually have material that can repair itself if
Mhm.
it gets torn.
Yep. They've been
It's
working
just, I think it's about communicating, dialoguing,
Mhm.
you know. I mean, how about
1907, Bakelite.
1907.
1907.
Wow.
Long time.
Yep.
Petroleum. It's interesting substance.
Mm.
I wish, didn't you wish you could do it all? You could like be a chemist, and it's like one of the things that you know how to do that you learn.
I hated chemistry.
Mhm. Yeah,
This
some-
baby's crying. I think I'm gonna go over and see if I can help. If I can help, I'll be right back.
Chemistry is one thing that I couldn't stand. Even science in class, I didn't like science.
there's
Oh,
lots of
I love science.
You loved it?
biology.
I
Not
didn't,
chemistry. I don't like chemistry.
I didn't like it in school, but
I didn't. Physics was so. Oh, I loved math, algebra. Calculus was sometimes hard, but algebra was very. I love things. You know, when you get to see things like algebra with all the angles, and that
Mhm.
was so cool. Like, yeah, and it all depends on your teacher. Big time.
Right.
You know, I like sometimes I like chemistry, sometimes I dislike it. It all depends. You know, throughout university as well. If you have a good teacher, makes a big difference. Because you know, I feel like I can like anything or dislike anything. I can love anything. I can be probably good at anything, but I have to, you know, put into it my love and energy. You know?
how's the arm, Steve?
Yeah, it's weak.
It's weak?
Still weak.
Yeah, it takes time.
Oh, a lot longer than I freaking was planning on.
Ah, can you plan this?
My lack of patience.
Yeah, you have to learn. You know, well, this is maybe your test, you know.
That's
A little test for you.
one thing we need to all work on, patience.
Be
Which
thankful.
means-
I started with a personal trainer down at the gym. So start working on it.
Gyms are open?
They're open. You gotta wear a freaking mask. And I just take it down when I get to where I'm going.
By appointment, is it?
No,
Ah, okay. So they're open.
supposedly on the 19th, that restriction's coming off. We'll see.
That's nice. How are you doing? Is it open?
You're still locked down, aren't you?
Everything's locked up.
Until when?
Oh,
I think it was
Something.
6
this month.
weeks, next month, it's supposed to open.
This month.
But there's word that they're gonna go into curfew.
really?
But this month, no? 6 weeks would be this month. Like maybe next week.
I
That's
don't know.
insane. That's just insanity.
It's beyond.
Unbelievable.
1 year, you can't see it doesn't work, whatever they're doing.
Today.
And people just, you know, hook, line and sinker, they buy it all up. It's just like, wow, okay, whatever.
Honestly, I have to say.
Nobody's even questioning this.
Uh,
anymore.
the-
It's not even being questioned anymore.
The attitude of the people, honestly, they can't like they're. It seems like they are sick and tired, and they're like you know, the bank. Nobody cares without a mask. Me, you know, yeah. No, but today nobody asked me a question. Last time they said, where is it? And I said, exempt. Okay, I just have to ask because it's. I said, yeah, I know you have to ask, but they all know. They all know it's just their job. They have to do it, but they can't care less. They know, and the attitude is like this today.
I mean,
I
nobody
don't-
questions the fact that, I think we're at somewhere around 40% of the country's vaccinated now. But all the mask mandates are still in place.
40?
It's around I think it was 139 million. I think it's 139 million, which is 40% of the country.
A lot of
40%.
people.
That's
A lot of people. Their goals, at least their goal is 70.
experimenting.
Wow, that's a big.
But I mean, where they're coming up with the numbers, I mean, they're not dropping any of their mandates. So they're just adding one layer on top of the other.
Yeah.
But some places now they're saying, they're relaxing some of
All
the
depends on-
rules
on
about
who's in
who
power.
can get together and how and where.
Yeah, in Florida, you guys are open up, right?
Yeah,
Because you
Florida's
have
very
state
open
governor.
now.
Sorry?
Because you have a sane governor down there.
Yeah. Paula, I remember you showing about 1 year ago about breathing in the GANs. Would you talk more about GANs?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Gas as nanosolid. It's a form of higher order. Something you could make from a liter
Right,
bottle. I
where-
think it was
The hookah.
a Wednesday session. Yeah, you can use like a shisha, shisha is it called? Shisha?
Shisha.
Shisha.
Shisha. SH.
A water pipe.
Bubbly, bubbly.
Wrong.
It's the basic concept of a water pipe.
Yeah.
So, you have a bottle
Any bubble. Any
and
bottle.
you have like a one straw that's above the water, and the straw that takes in the air is going into the water. So when you suck, the air is going through the water. That's how you make a water pipe. So when you're smoking your dope, it cools off the smoke going through the water. But why do we use the breathing of the GANs fields? Well, the breathing is the most potent way to interact with GANs. Why? Because the physicality of man, you're feeding the emotion directly through the nose. If you're doing it through the mouth, it's not the same. It's still going to get some benefit, but the best way to take your breaths is through the nose, because it goes through the brain, right? The sinuses. So the fields can interact with the brain as it's going into the lungs and feed the physicality. So yeah, that's the number one way where you want to interact with GANs. And of course, when you're making your GANs, always save some of the amino acids, because that's the connection to physicality of this realm. You have the COHN, COHN, carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen is the basis of amino acids. And without that connection, you're not going to be able to feed the physicality. So when you're making your GANs, collecting it in the tubs or jars or whatever, you're going to see a film, an oily substance on the water, and that's your amino acids. It's right from thin air and salt water, you make oil, fat. That's how the body does it. So it's really interesting that when we're taking in oils and fats, ingesting them,
Get obstructed.
they're so obstructive to the body. But when you let the body make what it needs, it's a whole different ballgame, just like anything else. So yeah, Paula, that's how we do it. So it's very, very, very basic and very simple. There's many videos out there of people sharing their information and different breathing devices that they've made to work with GANs. You can do it with like those oxygen type masks. So you're taking the air in through your nose. You can do it with, what do you call them? Fish tank air bubblers. You have a long hose going into the GANs and then coming through. So you use the fish tank bubbler pushing the air through the hose. And then you have those little oxygen devices they give you in the hospital when they give you oxygen, the tubes. It's It's got the two little nibs and put in your nose. And then you can breathe in that way. And the recommended is to do like about 15 minutes a day of breathing exercises through the gans. And, that's all you need, because what it does is it trains the body to remember how to interact with the fields. Because we're bombarding it all day, every day with matter state. And we plug it up and it doesn't work very efficiently anymore on the fields side. So we're always deficient because the body is not capable of utilizing the material things the same as it is interacting with the fields. The fields is at a whole different level, as we've anybody who's been master fasting will understand more and more as you continue this lifestyle about what it's like to live on fields versus matter state. So breathing in is very, very important. And if you got any kind of challenges happening, there's a friend of mine who had these symptoms of corona. He knocked it out in a few hours, just breathing in the cup of life gans. A few hours. There's people who've done it with just the Wim Hof in a couple of days, doing the Wim Hof every hour. The Wim Hof breath exercise, where you're taking in tons of air, you're doing 30 cycles and then you let it out and then you hold your breath as long as you can. You can easily be able to do 2 to 3 minutes if your breath is okay. And that's with no air in the lungs, right? You're holding. And that's kind of building up your CO2 in a different way, but by taking in the hyperventilation, it changes the chemistry to a higher alkaline state within the body. But I do it through the nose. If I do the Wim Hof, I don't like doing it through the mouth because we're continuously trying consciously to use the Buteyko type of breathing methodology, continuously nasal breathing and controlled pauses throughout the day. Or you can sit down and actually do sessions of, so many rounds, like 9, 10, 15 rounds of controlled pauses. Builds up your CO2. CO2 is absolutely necessary for energy exchange in the physicality. Without CO2, there's no energy exchange. So the body makes CO2 because it needs it, it's not a waste product. It gets rid of the excess because there's abundance and the body has access to infinite abundance. So it makes more than it needs. And guess what? The rest feeds what? The plants, plant kingdom. So the creation is perfect. Even though we don't have the understanding of it, it's perfect. Even though we may think something's wrong, nature knows what to do. How do we fix up nature? Leave it alone. Leave it alone. It fixes itself. It's completely designed and structured to reset itself back to blueprint, just like our physical body,
regardless of what's
no matter what we do. So isn't that freaking amazing?
Yeah, I know. And that's why we have to live, do your best and leave the rest to God. Like you have to just have faith that nature will fix itself, that everything is okay. We have to have that faith. Regardless of how negative the news are.
But we must stop.
The big picture, have faith.
We must stop bombarding it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, do your best.
We got to let the earth fast. Like the one positive thing is the skies are bluer since this, when we had the first lockdown, they had all kinds of positive things happening in nature.
Global temperatures raised.
Sorry?
Global temperatures raised.
Yeah.
The global temperature?
Yep.
In this past year?
You have the particulates going into the atmosphere to block it. double-edged sword there.
Well, to our understanding, like I said, if we look at, Greg's Braden's work of the history of the planet, the planet's getting colder, not hotter. Through the work that he's done. He's made some videos on that. It's very interesting. Everything
Yeah,
they're telling
I
us.
see both sides of that coin. I don't know which way it falls.
Yeah. Do you have to know?
No.
It's
All
too-
we know is
It's too
Well, I have
complicated.
a very inquisitive mind, so it needs to be exercised in that manner.
the thing we do know is that nature knows what it's doing, and it's always had cycles of colder and warmer temperatures throughout history.
Of course.
So whatever all science is saying doesn't make any sense to me anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some does, some doesn't.
They're trying to use the intellect to figure out how nature works. Not gonna happen in my book. It's
But at the end of the day, yeah, sure, the planet is not doing well. We all agree on that, and that's
Yeah.
because we're bombarding it with something, and the solution is the same. So why do you have to know the problem so much, like the details of the problem, when the solution, we know the solution? It's like it's right. It's going back to nature. Actually, the solution for the planet is really the planet is taken care of anyways, but for us the solution is to go back to nature, right? The solution is more for us than it is for the planet, because the planet is fine, right? Isn't this what you were saying?
the planet is fine.
Isn't this what you were saying? The planet and the nature takes care of itself. So the planet is fine. It's really for us, we have to change.
Well, the planet's not really fine right now. It's
But it can
from
take care of
everything
itself.
that humans have done to it. Yeah, but we have to stop doing what we've been doing. That's the key. We have to stop.
It's gonna kill us before it kills the planet. That's what I'm saying. if we don't stop, we are affected before the planet. The planet is fine. It's way bigger than us.
Perhaps it is, perhaps not.
Yeah, I feel like just do your job. Do you have to worry about the entire planet? Just do your job. Simple. It's too much to worry about the planet. Just we can hardly do our own job. So let's just focus on
And
that.
who's gonna take care of it?
Do your job. Sure. Be the change and spread the change too if you want to, spread the truth. But I think it's important to let go a little bit. We're trying to control how we're going to resolve things, without really doing anything, really.
If nobody does
we
it,
have to
the
do it.
corporations are gonna continue taking over. And that's the problem.
Well, then be
Because
the
it's all
change.
about
That's what I'm
bottom line.
saying.
They don't give two shits about nature.
No.
It's easy to say that, and it's hard to say, like, why are there 4,000 children, on the border of Mexico and the United States that, people have rooms in their homes, people have, and, more people aren't, like helping, taking these
Why
children.
are there 4,000 children on the border?
That's what
Why
they're
are they forced out of their country?
parents, they say, just wanting to see their kids survive. They're hoping that, that people will care here and the kids will get to survive. They did that, when Nazi Germany, was happening, people, putting their kids on trains, knowing they'll never see them again, hoping that there really are people on the other end who are going to care about these kids,
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff is going on. Paula,
Yeah.
thank you very much. I will look up the videos and watch. Do you do it every day? Yes, Wim Hof method is good. Do you mean the breathing? Yeah, you can you do it daily. What happens is people that will start doing it and then they let it go. They're not ready to heal. You'll find that they'll make up all the excuses, just like fasting, to not do it. And
Yeah,
'cause
it's
you're-
like anything else. It's
'cause
a
you're-
nice tool.
because you're working with the fields and it works directly with the soul of higher order. So you just have to really be focused on where you want to go and continue to do it. The yes, Wim Hof method is good. Yeah, Wim Hof. I don't know if you're meant to doing that every day, but no, I don't do the Wim Hof every day. I'm continuously practicing the Buteyko with minimal breathing, nasal breathing only, and controlled pauses throughout the day. That's what I practice, even when I'm exercising, so on and so forth. When I go back years ago, trying to take in as much air as you can through exercise. Now it's the opposite, because the body works much more efficient with less, just like with food, works more efficient. And for the people who understand that through the experiences, they will be rewarded. Leanna, magnetic reversal is also causing changes on the planet, and there is no stopping that. This is where I'll say we don't have the understanding of what it's doing. We think it's causing damages, but the earth knows exactly what it's doing. Exactly. You have to have 100% faith in the creator and nature. They know
it's
exactly.
more than the earth. It's the creator. It's beyond.
The only thing that we have to worry about is what man does.
What we do.
And what man thinks. That man thinks it understands and it knows better. That's the problem. If you leave nature alone, it corrects itself. We gave the example of Chernobyl. They did a documentary, I think it was in the most highest radioactive areas. There's this black mold growing and eating it all up, getting rid of the radiation. Nature's doing it. Where did this black mold come from? Well, because environment dictates outcomes. So nature knew it had to take care of it, so it created this black mold through the fields to take care of the radiation. Man can't do it. Man doesn't not even know how to control it.
Yeah, we're dumping it in the ocean.
Yeah, man's stupid enough to create things they can't control, and then they put it in freaking barrels and dump it in the ocean.
460 of them freaking plants on the planet.
So how brilliant is that, man?
Yeah.
It's just
one of the most.
It's crazy.
That's pure insanity, isn't it?
It's why play with things you can't control? You don't have the understanding. We shouldn't be playing with these things. It's that simple.
Hubris.
Yeah, common sense is long gone. It's always about what? Back to the corporation bottom line. That's the only thing that's in play. That's why this stuff is happening. Because if we, the people, took charge, we wouldn't allow this stuff to happen. We just wouldn't know. We can't control it. No, we can't play with that stuff. Ban it worldwide. Can't play with this stuff. Simple. But no, it keeps we keep doing things like that. Now with this all these frequencies, the new frequencies are bringing out and everything. My goodness. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. Let's tell there's a problem with Chernobyl right now. But I'm still trying to figure out like fusion power and fission power, and the difference. And they've been talking for a long time about, I think it's the fission that, can give us all the power that, that we need. It doesn't have to be worrying about oil or anything.
We had all the power. They
suppressed.
Buried the technology.
Yeah, it's there.
Nikolai Tesla had it.
Yeah, Tesla, and even before the Tesla really had tapped into a lot, but it's been around for a long time, maybe even thousands of years. Just look at the pyramids. How the hell they build those pyramids? they can't figure out how they do it today with all the equipment and modern technology we have.
You ever see that place in Florida?
The,
Actually, this guy, little tiny guy, I can't remember the name.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about, Barbara? He
yeah,
built-
I know what you're talking about.
castle
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah, he built this crazy freaking out of stones.
Yeah,
I mean, he had one balance, so you know, it's like a multi-ton stone, just a finger, you could rotate the whole thing.
yeah.
And he did it by himself.
And then he moved it.
Yeah,
He didn't tell anybody his secret.
so he knew it.
Hmm.
Yeah. What was that guy's name?
I don't remember. I know it was in Florida. He was a little tiny guy too. He was not a big man. He was a very small statured man.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was very interesting, that story.
I saw a documentary. I can't remember his name. But he
Yeah,
moved,
she
he
moved
moved
too.
massive stones. And one he used as like a doorway, and it's just one finger and you could just push it.
Amazing. Wow, so smart.
Did you go see it?
No,
I took my son when he was little and he was like now, you know, in his 40s, he's so excited to trying to like share what he saw, you know, what he knew. And sometimes it's hard to share what got you excited when you bring other people and it's a rainy day.
Yeah. You know, we
Yeah, I
tap in-
wish I,
when we tap into Plath, we tap into that higher order fields of creation, and everything's there. It's all available. And you know, there's some people who are capable of tapping into it more than others. You know,
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla was one who would design everything in his mind, working perfectly.
Carl Castle.
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
that's
Edward, I can't pronounce it. Lead Scaling or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, if anybody has a chance, go check it out. Very interesting. He built it all up and then they had to move it for some
Yeah,
regulation.
It's a
They
document.
wanted to tear him down, so he moved it into another part of Florida, wherever it is. Very, very interesting. Did everything at night, I think it was.
yeah, it was all done at night. Yeah.
Nobody could see what he was doing.
Wow. I want to watch it.
Amazing. So let's call it a night. We'll do a little prayer
Mhm.
and elevate this planet some more.
Mhm. Yes.
It's very interesting, wonderful times we're in. Great changes are at play. And a lot of confusion out there, big time confusion in humanity. The fields know exactly what's going on. So that's what we should focus on, tapping into those fields of
Mhm.
perfection, of order, of righteousness, and all that good, wonderful stuff. In the meantime, we continuously elevate all the souls on the planet, especially and specifically the leaders of the planet, that they may move in the direction of peace, balance, correct conduct. Because their life will not be any fun if they don't move in that direction. And so we can elevate their souls over and over and over again, so they can get the message strong and clear of which way we must move as humanity. And let's elevate all the other souls on the planet for people who are having big challenges and struggling with everything that's been going on this past year, so that they may find nourishment and strength to overcome all their difficult situations. And let's elevate the soul of the planet, Mother Earth, who's been nurturing humanity for thousands and thousands of years, and the whole animal kingdom, and so on and so forth. And let's stay focused to always move in the direction of peace, balance, correct conduct. We need to consciously make that effort every moment of every day, because it's not something that we are programmed for in this realm. Everything works in the opposite, so we have to put effort and consciously make that effort, move in that direction at all costs. So thank you, everybody, for joining. It's been awesome. We will see you on the next call. See you on the page.
Good.
Thank you again for joining. Always a blessing.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go to bed early.
See you. Paula, thank you, everyone.
My eyes are still burning from that dust.
That's nasty stuff.
All right. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.